Hello everyone, Ryan here. So this is going to be my spoiler-filled, that's right, spoiler-filled review. Well, maybe more of a talk than review of Star Wars The Last Jedi, Episode 8. If you like, you can check out my spoiler-free review of The Last Jedi. I'll provide a link down below where you can check that out. But as far as this goes, if you don't want any spoilers, if you haven't seen the movie yet, then please stop watching at this point and go on and go see it, go see The Last Jedi, then come back to this. So, to begin with, I guess I want to talk about Kylo Ren. I gotta admit, I thought he was going to kill Leia, his mom. There's that one scene where he came close to doing it. He was in his fighter ship of sorts, whatever it's called. I forget the exact name. And, you know, he was close to, he had his thumb on the trigger to fire a missile directly into the cockpit area where she was. I'm surprised he didn't go through with it. But then at the same time, that it kind of messed with the audience. At least for me, it did, because it led me to believe that, I thought, oh well, maybe he's going to turn to the light side or something like that, but no, he remained committed to the dark side pretty much, and then of course the whole scene in which he kills the Supreme Leader Snoke, that was an awesome scene. I wasn't really expecting it, but by the time when I saw him, he was using the Force. He used the Force to move the lightsaber, of course, because at that point, Supreme Leader Snoke, he was interrogating Rey, trying to get her to reveal all this information about Luke Skywalker and some other stuff too. I don't really remember exactly what other stuff, but so Rey, she had Luke's lightsaber. Of course, Supreme Leader Snoke, he confiscated it. It was right next to the throne he was sitting on, and it was an interesting scene. I mean, I liked that scene. That was, I think, definitely one of my favorite scenes in The Last Jedi. I wouldn't say my absolute favorite scene, but definitely one of my favorites. Just, the way that Kylo Ren used the Force to turn the lightsaber around and, use the Force to switch it on, thus cutting Snoke in half. And at the same time, too, I felt like it was also representative of Luke Skywalker. Because it might as well have been Luke Skywalker who killed Snoke. I mean, was his lightsaber. I mean, I might be, interpreting it in my own way. Well, obviously, definitely in my own way, but maybe reading too much into it. But I don't know. I don't really think so. And then I will say I liked the parts that depict Rey when she's training with Luke, although it wasn't really, to me, it really didn't seem like that much of a training kind of thing. I guess I was somewhat disappointed in that, but at the same time, I knew, because it was the whole thing, Luke, he didn't want to train her. He was afraid to, but then also too, it was like Rey, she didn't really need training. I guess it's more like she just needed to, she needed to be aware of exactly what the Force is, which Luke does explain to her, and he explains it to her very well. In fact, for me, I think for me, this is the first Star Wars movie that I've seen in which the Force was explained in a fairly easy way, in a way in which it was, I would say, for me, easy to understand. But then, I mean, I've always been the kind of person that reads up on a lot of philosophy and spiritual kind of stuff. I'm not saying by spiritual, I don't necessarily mean religious, though I guess you could interpret it that way as well if you choose. I mean, essentially, you know, because I like the way Luke explained it, that the Force is, you know, the thing or that which essentially binds everything, connects everything. That includes the good stuff and the bad stuff, and every single living thing, living creature, organism, being, but also animate and inanimate, pretty much, essentially. And then, of course, I was surprised that Luke didn't end up going back with Rey, didn't end up physically going back with her to help the rebellion, with Leia and all those other guys, like Poe and Finn but obviously the scene in which Luke Skywalker faces off against Kylo Ren, I would say I think that's got to be my favorite scene in the whole movie. Even though I was expecting a little more of actual fighting, but then I guess it made sense that it wasn't like your typical kind of battle because of the fact that, you know, Luke Skywalker was doing the whole astral projection thing, and so he wasn't really there. You know, his spirit was there, his energy or essence or whatever you want to call it. And, but I mean, yeah, that makes sense because he was still on that other planet. And even if he had left in like his own ship or something, no doubt would have taken him way too long to arrive to help anyone. So, I guess, you know, I was also a little disappointed that Luke Skywalker ends up dying. But I use that word loosely, quote unquote, dying. Because, you know, when it comes to the Star Wars universe, pretty much, you know, nobody is ever really gone. But that same philosophy can also be applied to real life. I mean, because when you think about it, even, you know, when you lose a loved one or a close friend, we consider them to be just completely gone. But really they're not. I mean, because, you know, we end up still reminiscing about them. We end up still talking about them, even if it is only once in a while. But, you know, usually when we end up talking about them, it still feels like, you know, like they're still a part of our lives, because in fact they are still a part of our lives. I mean, it may be, you know, sound kind of philosophical and new agey and all that, but that's something that I've always happened to believe in, you know, because we're all made up of the same energy, the same atoms, molecules, and whatnot. It's pretty much like, you know, death is just a word that we use in order to define just another process of something, just to define, you know, continuation of an ever evolving process. Yeah. I could probably explain that a lot better if I really think about it and jot down some ideas. But that's what I believe. I mean, you know, that's kind of what I feel like when it comes to things like the Force and the Jedi. Well, the Force mainly. To me, it's always seemed like that part of Star Wars can be the toughest part to explain, but also I consider it to be the most important part of the Star Wars universe, the storyline, and also an important part of the different relationships that each character forms with each other. And but yeah, it's and then not to mention Yoda appearing in this, and definitely wasn't expecting that. I mean, I wasn't. I kind of expected it in The Force Awakens, but he wasn't it, so wasn't surprised. But in this, yeah, and I guess, it definitely draws parallels with, I want to say, in the Empire Strikes Back, when Yoda initially, when he first trained Luke on his home planet, on Yoda's home planet, and but it wasn't entirely like that. It was, to me, it just came off as, like Yoda, the much older, wiser Jedi Master, reappearing in order to help, to mentor Luke Skywalker, the now Jedi Master, also, I guess, last of the Jedi Masters, pretty much. Yeah. It was like, Yoda appearing one last time in order to help out Luke Skywalker. And even though he just, kind of toyed with him for a little bit, and in a sarcastic kind of way, which, it wasn't pretty much keeping true to Yoda's personality. And but yeah, I like that too. That was also one of my favorite scenes. Yeah, it's really don't know what else to say other than, it seems to me like the title of, with The Force Awakens, it seems to me like it wasn't necessarily about any one character in particular, or even any particular group of people or characters. After seeing The Last Jedi now, it seems like to me that the title The Force Awakens is more like it actually referred to just the fact that now it's to the point where, you no longer have to be a Jedi in order to have access to the Force, in order to, use the Force to help people, for good, for the betterment of, all living beings throughout the universe. Something like that. That's still kind of a fresh thing that I'm tinkering around with, pondering still. Maybe after I watch The Last Jedi a couple more times, I'll have it much more solidified or something like that. But that's what I have right now. That's what I've interpreted as of right now and worked out. And because especially the ending of The Last Jedi that shows that little boy. It seems like he used the Force to move the broom closer to him, and that was pretty cool. I definitely I believe I mentioned in my spoiler-free review that I like this ending better than the ending of The Force Awakens, and it was just a nice way to wrap it up, to end it. And one thing I had heard, before I even saw Last Jedi, several critics, reviewers, they tried to say that The Last Jedi is pretty much like a rip-off of The Empire Strikes Back, and I really didn't get that. There's elements of that, but I didn't mind that much anyways, even if it was just a complete rip-off of The Empire Strikes Back. To me, I wouldn't have considered it a rip-off anyways, because It's Star Wars. I mean, how can Star Wars rip off Star Wars? That's... I mean, I can understand, like, if it was, like, another sci-fi movie, which pretty much a lot of movies rip off other movies. You know, that's how different ideas are born. But, you know, I could have understand if it was, like, another sci-fi movie that was very similar to The Empire Strikes Back, then, yeah, I would have said, yeah, that is a ripoff. But this is Star Wars. It's still in the same franchise. I mean, come on. It's... again, yeah, there was elements of Empire Strikes Back in The Last Jedi, but... You know, because... I mean, I don't know, maybe it was because there's a reappearance of the ATTs, I believe is what they're called. Those, like, huge, like, robotic, long-legged things, which actually in The Last Jedi they don't even really do that much. I think they did a lot more in Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, but I guess they didn't get a chance to do that much because that's when Luke had showed up, or rather, that's when he did the whole astral projection thing and. But yeah, I mean, of course, you know, I do give this 10 out of 10 as far as the rating goes. I do believe I rated that already in my spoiler-free review, so. And I, for one, I definitely look forward to the next installment, episode 9. At this point, I have no idea where they're going to take the story. To me, I feel like they could take it in so many different directions. You know, it could be that Kylo Ren does become like the next supreme leader or emperor or something, some kind of leader. Probably won't be associated with the Sith. You know, maybe he won't even bother referring to the dark side as the dark side. I don't know. The same thing with Rey. Who knows if she's gonna bother identifying as a Jedi or something else. I don't know. But I also like that. I like that, you know, now it's, you know, everything, the entire storyline is free to go in any direction. And, I mean, you know, hopefully it'll be a good direction. I don't know. Maybe something, you know, hopefully something really uplifting that'll inspire moviegoers everywhere, Star Wars fans, all Star Wars fans, all human beings, all mankind. And I don't know. But yeah, that's, again, if you've yet to see it, although I guess if you're watching this spoiler-filled thing that right here, probably all I've already seen it. But still, if you haven't, and somehow, you know, you're one of those people that likes hearing about spoilers before you watch something. I mean, still, I'm still going to tell you, you know, still watch it. I mean, I haven't revealed all of the spoilers. Just the ones that I feel are at least the most important as far as the storyline goes. And but yeah, that'll do it. So go see it again if you haven't already. I'm probably gonna go see it a couple more times at least, maybe 5 more times, 10 more times. I don't know. So thanks for watching this, and as always, till next time, don't forget to keep it real, keep on rocking, and peace.